Fast cinematic cut. Africa Twin splashing through water. CBR Fireblade screaming through a corner. Rebel cruising at sunset. Dirt bikes launching over jump. Then silence. Honda logo fades onto screen. Honda just dropped one of the biggest motorcycle lineups the industry has seen in years. 66 motorcycles across adventure. Touring, naked, motocross, dual sport, super sport, cruiser, commuter, and electric categories for 2026 and 2027. And somewhere inside that massive lineup are a few motorcycles that are going to completely dominate the market. A few that honestly make no sense at all. And one bike that could quietly become the most important motorcycle Honda has built in a decade. So I watched every reveal, studied every update, compared every specification change, and ranked all 66 Honda motorcycles from worst to best. Because hidden inside this lineup is the future of where motorcycles are heading next. Stay with this, because this ranking is not just about horsepower or price tags. Some motorcycles look incredible on a spec sheet and become forgettable the moment you ride them. Others arrive quietly with almost no hype and slowly earn legendary status because they solve real-world problems better than anything else available. And Honda's 2026-2027 lineup is filled with both. By the end of this video, you are probably going to disagree with at least one of my rankings. Honestly, that is exactly why this conversation matters. Welcome back to Riders Pro. The motorcycle industry right now feels divided between two extremes. On one side, manufacturers are building ultra-premium machines loaded with electronics, radar systems, giant TFT displays, adaptive suspension, and technology so advanced it sometimes feels like the rider has become secondary to the software. On the other side, riders are asking for something simpler, lighter, more mechanical, more connected. Honda looked at both sides of that argument and decided to do something very few companies can actually attempt: build motorcycles for all of them simultaneously. That is why this lineup matters. Because Honda is not betting on one future, they are preparing for every future at once. Let's start with the category everybody is watching most closely: adventure motorcycles. The 27 Africa Twin might be the most controversial motorcycle Honda has released in years. It is smoother, smarter, more refined, more electronically advanced, and objectively more capable than ever before. But there is also a growing group of riders quietly asking whether Honda polished away too much of the raw personality that made older Africa Twins feel alive. Then there is the Transalp 50, probably the smartest middleweight adventure bike Honda currently builds. Less intimidating than an Africa Twin, more affordable, easier to manage off-road, and positioned almost perfectly for riders entering the ADV category for the first time. And honestly, the surprise of the entire lineup might be the updated XR150L EFI. That bike will never dominate headlines. It will never win superbike comparisons. But fuel injection transformed it from an aging, budget dual sport into something globally relevant again. Reliable cold starts, improved efficiency, better altitude performance. Exactly the kind of practical upgrade real riders actually benefit from every single day. Honda's supersport category feels like two completely different philosophies fighting each other internally. The CBR 1000 RRR Fireblade SP is still one of the most extreme production motorcycles Honda has ever built. Aerodynamics inspired by MotoGP. Electronics sophisticated enough to manage almost terrifying performance. An acceleration that honestly exceeds what most riders can fully use on public roads. But what surprised me more was the quieter success of motorcycles like the Cybersphere. Because most riders are discovering something important. Usable performance is more fun than inaccessible performance. The Fireblade is extraordinary. The 650R is achievable. And sometimes achievable motorcycles create better long-term riders. Honda's cruiser lineup for 2026 and 2027 feels unusually intelligent. The Rebel 500 continues dominating newer rider recommendations because Honda understood something most manufacturers ignored. Intimidation kills interest. The Rebel makes riders feel confident immediately, and that matters more than spec sheet bragging rights. Meanwhile, the Rebel 1100 DCT remains one of the strangest and smartest motorcycles Honda has built. Automatic transmission, cruiser ergonomics, real touring capability. 5 years ago, traditional riders mocked the idea. Now, a surprising number of experienced riders secretly love it. Because after 10 hours in traffic or across highways, convenience stops feeling lazy and starts feeling brilliant. This is where the lineup becomes genuinely interesting. Honda is slowly pushing deeper into electric motorcycles and hybrid concepts. And whether riders admit it publicly or not, every manufacturer is watching how customers respond. Right now, electric motorcycles still have one massive problem: emotional connection. Internal combustion motorcycles feel alive. Vibrations, sound, heat, shifting gears, mechanical drama. Electric bikes are faster in some situations, smoother in almost every situation, but emotionally, something still feels absent for many riders. Honda understands that better than most companies. That is why they are moving carefully instead of forcing the transition aggressively. After watching every reveal and comparing every update, 3 motorcycles stand out above everything else. First, the Africa Twin, because even controversial motorcycles shape the market. Second, the Transalp 750, because it quietly solves the exact problems most riders actually face. And third, surprisingly, the XR 150L EFI.